Welcome back to Hardware Unboxed. It's that time of the year again. 2018 is nearly over, and we're here today to give you our best PC games of 2018. It's not actually just a big list of all the good games that came out this year, but we do have several categories that we'll be handing out some awards for. For these awards, we asked the wonderful members of our Patreon exclusive Discord community to put in some nominations for their favorite games of the year. Both Steve and I don't always get a chance to play every single game that comes out in the year. We do play a lot of titles for benchmarking and testing purposes, but we don't often get a ton of time to just, sit down and enjoy some PC gaming sessions. So our Discord was super helpful in narrowing down some of these choices. And if you want to come and chat with us about games and all sorts of other stuff, so you can sign up to our Patreon. Links to that in the description. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the picks. I thought picking a best overall PC game in 2018 would be a bit of a challenge. There's been lots of high quality titles released throughout the year, but there was one that received an overwhelming number of nominations from our community. That game is Forza Horizon 4 from Playground Games and Microsoft Studios. I personally played a lot of this game and thought it was absolutely fantastic, and it's a highly deserving winner of Best PC Game. I think racing games can sometimes get a bit stale, but that's definitely not the case with Forza Horizon 4. This game is loads of fun, it's continually evolving with lots of new challenges and events to participate in, and it's such a good experience whether you're playing it in single player or multiplayer modes. In fact, for this video, I originally had separate categories for best single player and best multiplayer, but after examining the nominations, I think Forza Horizon 4 takes it out in both categories. The game world is vast and beautiful, plus the changing seasons is such a unique and innovative way to vary conditions as you play through. The library of cars in this game is phenomenal as well. Good luck trying to own them all. But it's not just the gameplay that makes this PC game great, it's also the way this game runs on the platform. While developed primarily for Xbox, Forza Horizon 4 has everything you'd want from a PC title. Support for arbitrary resolutions, aspect ratios and frame rates, a wealth of settings options, proper high-end anti-aliasing, excellent controller support, and best of all, superb optimization. This game runs brilliantly on both AMD and Nvidia hardware without favoring either company, while still delivering some of the best visuals you'll get in a game this year. The only downside I can think of is the fact that it's only on the Windows Store, which is a steaming pile of junk, but when you can get around that limitation, there's nothing but good things to say about Forza Horizon 4, and I completely agree with our community that suggested this title for Best PC Game of 2018. As PC gamers, we love graphics. We love running at high resolutions, we love running at high frame rates, and we love our games to look beautiful. After all, that's part of the reason why we choose to play on PC rather than on consoles to get, the best experience a game can offer. So to us, a category praising the most visually stunning game is very important. Lots of games delivered impressive visuals in 2018, including Forza Horizon 4 that we just spoke about, along with titles like Battlefield 5, Far Cry 5, and Fallout 76. Wait, maybe not that last one. But in our opinion, the game with the best graphics in 2018 was Shadow of the Tomb Raider. This title, developed by Eidos Montreal and published by Square Enix, is graphically phenomenal. It might not have the biggest open world or the best gameplay of the year, but Shadow of the Tomb Raider gets nearly every aspect of its graphics right. Textures are very high quality, environments are well modeled and packed with details, foliage quality has been stepped up a notch, and it's capped off by one of the most impressive lighting systems of the year with excellent volumetric effects, bloom, ambient occlusion, screen space reflections, light shafts, and high quality shadows. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is one of those games that as you move through environments, it's worth pausing and just admiring the work that has gone into producing such stunning visuals. Even smaller details like Lara's hair and the motion blur implementation are impressive, while it's one of the first games I've seen where temporal anti-aliasing actually looks decent. Best of all, the game isn't ridiculously punishing to run. Sure, it does take a high-end system to enjoy this game in all its glory, but I think the visuals match the performance you get, unlike some other titles released throughout 2018. It also makes a great benchmark for PC hardware that we'll continue to use, and I'm sure will be used by PC builders to see how their system is faring for years to come. Optimization is another one of those categories that's very important for PC gaming. With any new release, it's one of the first things that's discussed. Is this game well optimized, or is this just another crappy console port? We all want games to look good, but we also want them to run well across a wide variety of systems, from those on a budget to those that can afford an RTX 2080 Ti. Again, Forza Horizon 4 was one of the best optimized titles of the year, but there's another game that really stands out, and that's Battlefield 5. This is a visually stunning game and one that's more complex than Forza Horizon 4 in terms of environments, effects, and multiplayer netcode, yet it manages to run extremely well on hardware not just from today, but also from several generations ago. In our big benchmark video, we showed that GPUs like the Radeon R9 390, GeForce GTX 970, and newer offerings like the GTX 1060 and RX 570 from the mid-range are suitable for 1080p 60 FPS gaming in Battlefield 5 using the Ultra preset. That's very impressive considering how the game looks using those quality settings. Then at 1440p, you only need an RX 580 for an average above 60 FPS, while high-end cards like Vega 64 and the RTX 2080 are good for near 100 FPS or more. On top of this, the game scales very well when adjusting the in-game quality presets. Gaining 45% more performance from turning down a variety of settings is well within the realms of possibility, and that brings even more entry-level GPUs up to a performance level that's acceptable while maintaining decent enough graphics. EA Dice's Frostbite engine continues to impress in this regard. We are ignoring Battlefield 5's DirectX ray tracing implementation here, as that's less than impressive and isn't particularly well optimized, but the good news is you don't need to play with DXR enabled. In fact, we recommend you don't, and with just the regular graphics options, Battlefield 5 looks fantastic and it runs very well. This category rounds out our list of more technical awards for PC games released in 2018. Hey, we're a technical channel. We love digging into games and seeing how they run. But we're also interested in seeing how games evolve, and we do get a little excited when new and innovative technical achievements are brought to the table. For this technical innovation category, we're going to hone in on one specific title, and it might be a bit of a surprise to some of you. That game is Ubisoft's Far Cry 5. Now, you might be wondering, what aspect of Far Cry 5 was all that innovative from a technical standpoint? I mean, sure, the game was fine, the graphics were good, and it ran pretty well. But was there anything out of the ordinary about the game? And well, the answer comes down to HDR. This game impressed us for being the first and one of the very few titles available right now with proper, decent HDR support on PC. This is the first game I played on an HDR monitor that really wowed me and highlighted where HDR gaming is set to go in the future. Unlike some of the older HDR titles, Far Cry 5's HDR implementation is actually a significant step up from its regular SDR presentation, and best of all, it just works flawlessly without any fiddling. We're giving this award to an HDR implementation for a number of reasons. Firstly, in this title, enabling HDR comes at no performance cost. All you need is an HDR monitor, and bam, you can enable HDR for basically a free visual improvement. It looks better, and it runs just as well as before. Secondly, it works with both AMD and NVIDIA GPUs right now. Again, if you have an HDR monitor, it will work with the majority of hardware in gaming PCs today. It's also clear that a lot of work has gone into this HDR implementation to make it great, and that's something I appreciate. While HDR is still in its infancy, it's great to see a company like Ubisoft setting an example for others to follow. The main competitor for this category was DirectX ray traced reflections in Battlefield 5, but ultimately we decided not to award ray tracing just yet. While technically impressive and also the future of gaming, DXR doesn't run particularly well right now. There are artifacting issues. It's only accessible to those who purchased NVIDIA RTX graphics cards, and in Battlefield 5 specifically, it offers a minor visual improvement for a significant performance cost. We think HDR right now is a bit of a more well-rounded technology and one that's more ready for prime time, and I think Far Cry 5 showed us that this year. So far in this video, we've discussed a lot of AAA titles, but there were also a bunch of excellent non-AAA games released in 2018, so we couldn't make this video without honoring at least one of them. While not a game we personally have played, Return of the Obra Dinn sounds absolutely fascinating from all accounts. In case you didn't know, it's a mystery puzzle game where your main objective is to discover the fate of crew members on the Obra Dinn, a vessel that appeared in port with everyone on board dead. You spend the game piecing together what happened to everyone and who killed who. It's one I can't wait to check out over the Christmas break. I'm not going to mention any other story details because of spoilers, and it's not the sort of game that you need a powerful PC to run. While it is a 3D game, its black and white art style gives it a unique and old school visual style. And if you don't trust our community's recommendation, and let's be honest, you guys are amazing and have given us some great recommendations, Return of the Obra Dinn has been widely acclaimed by critics if you pay much attention to that stuff. That's it for this one. Let us know what games you loved in 2018 and whether you agree or disagree with our picks. There are lots of other excellent games we played in 2018 that we didn't even touch on in this video. So check out the comments where I'm sure a lot of other people will put in some recommendations. As always, you can subscribe for more Hardware Unboxed content. Consider supporting us on Patreon to get access to our Discord chat and monthly live streams. And I'll catch you in the next one.